call it a session, because it's not really a session either. But without further ado, we will have two gentlemen that I don't know who these people are, but I can tell you who's about to join us on stage is Mr. G, and over here we're going to have Mr. SP. And this is going to be Mythbuster style. So imagine Mr. G might be living in the 80s and the 90s, and he's hugging those servers, he's hugging those firewalls. He has to be the person that's literally plugging all this stuff in. And Mr. SP is going to maybe tell him a better way. Mr. G, Mr. SP, please join me on stage.
Thank you. Okay. No, I have this one.
Mr. G already.
Yeah, I have my own one. It's like, I don't take your modern stuff.
All right.
Okay. So, without further ado, thank you all for joining today. We are happy to be a sponsor for VMUG on all 5 global events, so that's going to be fun. This session is only going to be here in Europe, so we wanted to do something special over here. We will have different sessions across. The other part is like, as we were a sponsor, I don't get completely around and actually doing a quick company introduction, but once that is over, we are going to quickly get into the Mythbusters story. To myself, I'm Yves Sandfort. I'm CEO and founder of the comdivision group. Later on, I'm going to be Mr. G, and I'm going to hack my physical firewalls, and I'm not going to easily give them up to Chris. Chris, do you want to quickly introduce yourself as well?
Sure. I'm Global Field CTO for Application Networking and Security. Longtime friend with Yves, so happy to be up here for the first time sharing the stage with him.
Yeah, we never did that in all these years. It's like we did VCDX, we did all kinds of other crazy things.
Had
but
hours and hours of conversations about stuff, but never on stage. So.
But never say it's the last time, so
yeah,
we will get to it. Quickly about comdivision, from a day-to-day operations perspective, we are a professional services company by heart. We always start nearly every project from an architecture perspective. That's the foundation from our perspective across how we are going to address any problem, whether it's a small one or even a big implementation. The second part, and that is actually also how Chris and I met, is the education part, whereas we are not teaching like 5-day classes that much anymore. It is all about, it's still in our DNA, we are training our customers to really be able to take whatever we implement with them so that they can finally operate that on a day-to-day basis and make sure that they get the most out of the VCF product, whatever they can. Which comes to the last part is, if a customer needs more assistance, if a customer wants to actually run more from that perspective, we can even help them on a daily operational perspective, whether that is on a fixed fee engagement or on an hourly basis or whatever they are going to look for.
You guys are doing managed services.
We are going to do managed service. We do that actually for, I think, 4 or 5 years by now, but it's not the standard scenario. We are also going to celebrate this year 30 years, so those of you who are going to make it out to Vegas, make sure to potentially ping me. Maybe you get an invite for our birthday party. There are people who are still celebrating the 20 years anniversary we had in Vegas, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We have been a VMware partner for over 20 years by now, and we have a strong services background. As we said, we have far over 100 VCF deployments done in the last 2 or 3 years. We have 4 nights, 2 VCDXs. I have stopped counting certificates. I think there were 1 or 2 people from our team also who did some during today. So all of that is there. We are globally positioned. We are basically headquartered not even 2.5 hours from here in Münster in Germany. We have an office in Austria, in Switzerland. We are in the USA, in Florida, and Texas. And yes, we also are in the UAE, in Dubai. And yes, that office is still operating and fully functional. Let me not get into that too much detail. I have been there the last few weeks. Let's move over and let's actually talk about something which many of you most likely have experienced. If you are coming from a partner perspective, you are most likely the guy who is actually looking at me is like, okay, that's exactly that one person I have seen in too many projects, blocking off everything I'm trying to do. If you are looking at it from a more or less user's perspective, you most likely, if you have a dedicated team doing physical network, you will see people like myself actually on a daily basis perspective. And yeah, Mr. SP here is going to try to actually get me out of that scenario. So from a background perspective, I'm really more looking into this from a CISO perspective. I'm really deep into security, and I 100% believe that whatever we currently do is perfectly well solving all the problems we have.
Yeah, and I'm here to prove him wrong. So I am Mr. SP, Mr. Smarty Pants, and I envision a secure environment using tools that are more evolved than what Mr. G is accustomed to. And I have ideas to improve his current solution. And I'm confident that we will replace some things, but it's also a complement to what he's doing. So I'm not trying to wipe out everything that he's doing, but as much as this is a role-play Mythbusters type thing, I see this all the time. I see customers all the time that it's hard to change the way they think about something because that change introduces a new operational model that they're not familiar with. But it's something that we can't avoid, right? If we don't embrace change, we're probably all in the wrong business because everything is changing so fast these days that we have to be open to it.
So you mean the physical hardware I just bought for a pretty big budget is actually not doing its job?
Probably not. Not in the way you expect it to.
I'm pretty sure it's like our physical firewall is all we need, and I'm going to show you a network diagram and all we think, because it's going to clearly protect us, especially from all the outside, but also against internal threats. So I'm pretty confident. So look at this. It's like this is a beautiful network environment. Yes, this is my network environment. I have a wonderful physical firewall on the outside. I created VLANs so that I can separate the traffic. So I did not, stupid enough, actually put everything onto one layer network and did all of that. It's like you see, we have virtualized clients because we don't actually work with physicals anymore. So that way we can protect them more. I don't need all your stuff. It's 100% virtualized. And I have this wonderful, beautiful firewall, which the vendor actually promised to me it's going to solve me. And it's like, if anyone from the outside is going to attack that beast, it's like nothing is going to happen to me.
Okay, we're going to see about that.
Okay. So from the outside, I'm pretty convinced that we are 100% secure. And even if, for whatever reason, nothing is going to happen from that perspective, and someone were to bypass our complex mail security systems and everything else and get an email in, let alone that all my users are 100% perfectly trained and no one would be stupid enough to click on something which promises them a free cruise or anything like that. It's like, who would ever do that? I mean, that's hilarious. It's like, we are a highly trained company. Our users are all perfectly well trained for that, so nothing is going to happen down there.
Well, look, it's not the free cruise. It's the free coupons you should be worrying about. They know the free cruise is fake, but free coupons, man, everybody wants those.
So,
yeah.
Tell me how you are going to actually make this any better.
Well, so let's just get some clarity here on this. You're telling me that you've got this physical firewall.
Yes.
And
I have them redundant, so it's not even one box.
Good. Now you're definitely winning. So you're going to take this traffic on these different networks, the red, the purple, the blue, the yellow, and you're going to hairpin all of those to your physical network, or is that just the egress point for them?
No, every traffic has to go through it because I want to protect each network from each other.
Okay, and every new network you're going to add, you're also going to route to that same firewall.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, when that happens and your firewall becomes oversubscribed, what are you going to do?
I'll buy a bigger one.
And how long will it take to get that one?
Just 2 or 3 months.
Oh, so you won't add any new networks or any new traffic for 2 to 3 months?
Oh no, we have a long process. It's like people fill out a form, request a network, and do all of these wonderful things. And by the way, we need to align the network IP addresses to the VLAN ID. That's a truly highly complex process. You cannot just actually wipe that out and actually just magically make that. It's like, where do we end up if everybody can actually set up a network? Are you crazy or what?
So you're saying it's okay to take 2 to 3 months because it takes you 2 to 3 months to go to market with a new app?
Oh yeah.
Oh, all right.
Oh, we need to still test it and do all these things, I think.
So let me ask you this then, Mr. G. What about within the red, right? So you're showing me that there's this VDI environment, and if something in the VDI environment gets compromised, how are you protecting everything else in the VDI environment?
Oh, I just redeploy the desktops.
Redeploy. So if everything gets compromised in there, you're just going to redeploy hundreds, if not thousands, of desktops for your.
Yeah, we have this freaking fast storage from you know what company, and that's going to actually solve all of that.
You mean the vSAN storage that you're going to use?
No. We are not using vSAN. Are you crazy?
Yeah. So, Mr. G, the biggest hole that I see in your security story here is that even if you are building these zones, and even if you are hairpinning to this physical firewall, within each of these zones, you are still left exposed.
A bit, maybe.
Well, there's no maybe, you really are. You're just hoping that it doesn't happen to you.
Why would you want to stay in one network? It's like if you can cross over to the other one.
Well, if I were you, I would hope they don't cross over to the other one. Because now you have malicious software installed in your VDI environment that could then transition into your other environments.
Yeah, but my internal rule sets, it's like, ignore this. It's like my internal rule sets are clearly going to be protective for that.
But you gotta get from the red to the yellow, don't you?
Yes, but that's what we have the physical firewall for. It's like everything has to pass that physical firewall.
Right, but your own diagram just went from red to yellow. So
Yeah,
you gotta be allowing
come
it.
on. Maybe, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay. But so let's play through your wonderful game. It's like, let's envision we are going to do that. Do you really want to actually implement a stupid firewall in front of every freaking individual system, or what's your
Absolutely.
idea? It's like, who is going to manage that? I don't have budget for 50 more people.
I thought you just told me that you were interested in security.
Yes, but we need to keep costs under control.
What if I could give you security while keeping costs under control, while also not impacting your operational model in a way that requires you to have new staff?
So you come up with some crazy AI stuff now.
It's not AI, but it's definitely a crazy new way to think about security, that's
Okay.
for sure.
Is it private VLAN?
It is not PB-LANs either. Mr. G. I know you probably love PB-LANs, Mr.
Oh, that's
G,
perfect, yeah.
but
But the physical firewall can't do that, so we didn't implement that part.
So what I'm proposing to you, as you can see in this new diagram here, is that you put a firewall in front of every one of these. So whether they're in the same subnet, different subnets, you have the opportunity to inspect traffic upon egress and ingress for every one of these virtual machines. Which, by the way, will also simplify the way that you have to deploy networks in your environment, because you won't have to worry about security as being one of the decision makers.
So you mean I'm not going to get invited into lovely cruises by this firewall vendor anymore because I need to buy a bigger one?
No, you won't go to cruises, but you also won't be as worried about getting attacked.
Okay,
Pick
yeah.
your poison.
Okay. So when we think about this, it's like, but firewall is not all of it.
No, definitely not. So when you look at this, you even mentioned yourself, you have to be able to get from one network to the next, right? So whether it's your firewall or my firewall, you have to get there, but it's about context. It's about understanding what is the flow. You can open a port and protocol, you can close down ports and protocols, but without a richer understanding of what the application is supposed to be doing, you're still at a loss. So in addition to adding firewalling into the hypervisor, what if I could give you IDS IPS? What if I could look for known bad traffic patterns that identify a threat actor is trying to do something that you don't want them to do?
Yeah, I get that. It's like virtual security might add some value here and there, but I mean, it's like, what if something happens in my infrastructure? What if I actually get something? Because yes, it's the same problem. It's like what you just described. It's like it's like the only difference I see here is like within one network I have more protection. But if something has to move from yellow to green here and I open the port, your systems are not getting me anything more than that firewall-y thing I have anyway.
Oh, I think you're misunderstanding something here. Because if you introduce firewalling, you introduce IDS IPS,
Okay.
you introduce malware protection, you're getting additional defense in depth that you're not getting just straight through the firewall capability. But if you think about IDS IPS, the way that you're doing it today, you have to introduce a complex configuration to take a sampling of traffic from a virtual machine passing through a VDS, and you have to push that over to some hardware device at the end of row to determine whether or not that traffic should go. So think about all the consumption of existing physical networking gear only to reach an IDS device that says, don't pass this traffic. That seems extremely inefficient, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, but that's a device I can see in my rack, I can touch it, I know where it is. If something is bad is going to happen, I know exactly where to hit it.
Yeah, and that's also going to limit your ability to grow, Mr. G.
I can put in more of these physical devices. They have nice shiny blue LEDs.
They do have a lot of LEDs, Mr. G. You're right. I can't argue with that part of it. So, yeah, so the IDS IPS is adding that extra layer of protection into the environment.
So you mean that's then automatically, magically detecting and blocking traffic?
I don't know if I'd call it magic, but it's some really good engineering on the part of Broadcom.
Okay, so that's fine, but I get the IDS IPS part, but still it's like my physical firewall is actually preventing me from malware. It's like anything being sent in is like that's going to look at it and it's not going to even get into my building in the first place.
What if it's already in your building?
How would it come in?
You have users?
Yeah, but they are well trained.
Oh, come on, Mr. G. You and I both know that users are going to click on things they're not supposed to.
No, that would never happen. I mean, even in an IT company, I can never imagine that someone would click on a link. It's like, that's stupid. It's like, don't you train your users in your corporations, or how do you handle that?
Sure you do.
Yeah, we have all been on these wonderful security trainings. Half an hour, a lot of very sensible questions, very hard to pass, and basically it's like, once all my users are trained on that, I'm safe.
Yeah, good luck with that one, Mr. G. So let's talk a little bit more about the malware piece. I'm assuming you have an EDR.
Oh yeah.
And you're running it inside the guest operating system.
Yes, for sure. Where else should I run it?
Okay. And so what do you do if something gets compromised? What's your reaction?
I mean, that can only worst case. Even if I would imagine that this would happen, this would potentially, because we are talking about users, happen in my virtual desktops. I told you already, I'm just going to redeploy that and then my problem is gone.
What if it happens not in a virtual desktop?
How would it get there? Again, that's what my physical firewall is for.
Yeah, but we just saw that there's an open port and protocol. With no IDS IPS, no inspection, attackers can use open ports and protocols to be able to reach systems and then execute malicious code. That's your answer?
I'm not 100% sure on that part. It's like, how? I mean, it's like, you want to run this on every freaking hypervisor? It's like, that's going to consume a hell lot of power, and then I actually need more hypervisors, and then I rather have a new box with blue LEDs again.
Well, as you add more hypervisors, you're going to get your LEDs. But that hypervisor will give you CPU and memory and firewalling and IDS IPS and malware protection as it scales linearly with the rest of your data center.
Okay, maybe partially I'm going to reconsider that part. I partially agree that that's nice, but the last few times, whenever we switched physical firewalls or anything like that, it all ended up as like, first we are spending a hell lot of money on actually getting a new firewall, and then it takes us 9 months or 6 months to figure out that we are not able to use that. We need additional tools just to be able to manage that beast and actually understand what the logs put out and all of that wonderful thing. So thinking about that, this is no longer just one box, but distributed across my complete infrastructure. This is just going to be horrible to monitor and manage in whatever way and fashion. How should that work?
Well, let me explain something to you. Have you ever heard of a platform?
You mean the thing below the rack?
No. A platform. Not point tools and this third party this and third party that. But something that with integrated parts that makes it easier to do things. So you're worried about complexity, but the things that you're holding on to are the complexities.
But we need to have best of breed tools.
I don't know about that part, right? What you need is a solution that's going to be efficient and effective in your environment. So you talk about what if. It's not a matter of what if, it's a matter of when. If you're not fully protected, it's a matter of when. So when something happens, you need to have visibility. You need to know what's happened.
This is why I need to know where physically that box is in my rack.
I'm not talking about the box, I'm talking about the malicious threat actor's action.
It's before the box outside of the building.
Yeah. So with Vdefend, you're going to be able to gain visibility into exactly what happened. You're going to get policy recommendations. You're going to get detection of specific traffic and suspicious traffic. Things that attackers are doing in your environment, you're going to have firsthand knowledge of how they happen.
So you're now going to tell me that the software you are going to give me is actually going to tell me how to write my rules and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
It's like,
You said yourself you didn't have more staff, right?
How can anything, it's like, look at this beauty, this complexity of web of applications, all of them talking to each other. It's like, my engineers, it takes them weeks to understand how traffic goes from A to B.
Yeah, we're going to cut that down significantly. Because we can take your application architectures, we can understand them, and then we can provide you rule recommendations. So there's still a human involved. There's still a person to look at it and determine, are these policies correct? Are these the policies we want? And then determine if they should be deployed. Now, you're not going to break the app. You're not going to break the app because in your brownfield environment, the default policy is going to be any allow.
How is that being any protective if I say any allow?
Listen, you got to iterate your way into this, right? Baby steps, Mr. G. I don't expect you to do all of this on day one.
Or day two.
Or day two. But once you start whitelisting, the longer you go building policies, you track the default policy, and when things stop hitting the default policy, then you're going to step closer to the zero trust architecture that I know you're trying to get to.
Okay, so you are going to give me recommended groups for all my applications because you magically understand what all my applications do. And you are going to recommend me firewall rules because you understand this better than these people who have been working with these applications for the last 15 years.
Well, remember though, you said you're 100% virtualized.
Yes.
So who better to give you the data that you need than the hypervisor you're running?
Okay, so let's imagine that magic works, and there was a lot of magic in all your discussions. I still believe my physical box. I'm going to go back there and hack that a bit. What if? Because it's like, you told me it's like what all can go wrong in my infrastructure with my approach and everything else. It's like, I think we can all agree on that. There is no 100% protection.
Oh, for sure. There's no one tool that's going to solve everything. There's no one way to guarantee. What I'm saying, the problem with your architecture is that not only can something happen, but if it did, you wouldn't even know what it was that happened. Whereas when it comes to security, you should be thinking about three things. One is how do you proactively protect and mitigate against the things you know could happen. Two is how do I detect if something has actually happened? And three, which I hope you never have to do, is how do you recover in the event that something has happened?
So how does your magical warden of everything actually make all of this happen? Again, it's like normally I go back to my physical box. Worst case, I put in a serial cable and actually look at the log files. That's a beauty by itself, you know that.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me everything is distributed. It's like, how, if something really happens, it's like, how do I know where to pull a plug or anything else and how to stop something and get all of this working?
So when you say distributed, let's be clear. What's distributed is the security enforcement. So we have a centralized management plane, but decentralized enforcement methodology. So all of the traffic, all of the data that's happening in the environment is collected into a central repository. That's where we can apply AI and ML to be able to see flows in your environment, but not just randomly looking at flows, looking at flows that correlate with one another into what is an attack campaign. And with that richness of information, you now know exactly what happened in your environment.
Okay, so let's imagine that is possible. By the way, that actually sounds a bit like my physical hardware box because you said it's all centralized in one place.
Yes, and if you want, I can give you a cardboard box with some LEDs if you want to be able to touch it.
Oh, that would be nice. But so let's imagine, and again, we all hope that never actually this happens to anyone, but let's envision something like that, and in our company this would never happen anyway. It's like, let's imagine something is going to happen to me. It's easy, I don't need all that. I just roll back to the last known good backup, and I'm going to be fine again.
The last known good backup of what?
Yeah, from yesterday or the day before or whatever you say.
Of which system?
All.
Every system?
Oh yeah, my architect told me, it's like, we have like an 8 hours code total recovery time. It's like, that's not bad. It's like, we just actually clear everything. We take out the backup tapes and we roll everything back, and within 8 hours.
You said 8 hours?
Yeah, it's only 1 petabyte of storage in total. It's like, that can't take that long to recover that from tape.
Remember the snapshots.
Mr. G, 8 hours? You're not going to get through a fraction of your VMs in 8 hours if you don't know what's happened.
The architecture paper says I can.
The paper says you can. So, Mr. G, what you have to understand is without a rich contextual understanding of the attack chain, you're going VM by VM, snapshot by snapshot, trying to figure out what was attacked.
Snapshots are not backups.
Well, whatever
But I learned that.
Whatever you have and are trying to restore from, you're going to iterate through all of those. It's going to take you a lot more than 8 hours. So
And maybe a
hopefully
day.
you have job security here, and that your job is not relying on any type of SLA in the event of a ransomware event. Because 8 hours certainly will not be long enough.
Yeah, by the beginning of this, I'm going to be on a plane to the Caribbean Sea anyway. No, let's play through this. It's like, how would you know which timestamp to use? Again, it's like you're telling me, it's like your software can actually tell me that better than all the people I have been working with for a long period.
Yeah, because if you think about it, with all of this traffic going, I mean, look, you understand the concept of a distributed switch, right?
Yeah, partially.
So traffic has to pass through a distributed switch in the hypervisor. From there, it hits a physical NIC. From the physical NIC, gets to the physical switch, right? Well, think about, not only does the hypervisor pass this traffic, but it can inspect this traffic, right? We talk about firewalling, we talk about IDS, we talk about malware, but it also has the ability to take this traffic and send it to a collector. That's our SSP.
Okay.
Now, with all this data, all this flow information, we can apply intelligence to it to recognize an attack chain. So for example, if an attacker gets into your environment, and I hope they don't, there will be some type of infiltration, and they'll probably install command and control software, something like Cobalt Strike.
That is when I get this wonderful red screen which tells me if I
That's
pay 5 bitcoins. It's like, not that I have ever seen something like that before, but
This is just command and control. This is just the ability to get into your environment and snoop around. But from there, they might move to another system and install the same command and control. And then to another system, same command and control. What's happening is the data that we've collected is not seeing this as random events. It's seeing it as a correlation. So it starts to follow the path of what's going on. Because eventually it lands on a system, and we watch the data exfiltration, and then we watch the encryption event, which means we have every step along the way. We know what was attacked, when it was attacked, and what happened as part of that attack. So if you want to come even close to the 8-hour time that you have, you're going to need that information to be able to restore quickly.
so you mean you can tell me for each individual virtual machine which recovery point I'm going to look at?
For each individual machine that was part of that attack campaign, absolutely.
Okay, sounds maybe like a plan I could look into.
You guys notice how when Mr. G's wrong, his voice kind of drops a little bit?
No. I'm going to go back to my physical. No way.
But I do have some good news for you. You probably already have a SecOps team, right?
Oh yeah.
And your SecOps team probably has whatever tool they
Oh,
use.
they have a huge room with large screens and
A lot of
everything.
screens
A
and
lot of
everything.
screens. A lot of screens.
So I'll tell you this, Mr. G. I'll concede on this part. If you don't want to use my tool to see the information, at least take the information and put it in your tool. I'm not going to be completely selfish here. I understand if your team doesn't want another dashboard or another window they have to look at. So all of the data that we are putting together as part of this campaign, this curated information, you can put it in your own tools and make decisions from there. How's that sound?
Yep, we should maybe a little bit look into that.
Okay.
A little tiny bit.
We should.
Okay, good. Okay, that's more or less it. We actually ran a bit faster than we planned to, but that's good because next step is going to be happy hour. I'm now actually asking Brad back on stage.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
G
you.
and Mr. SP.